Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we had our primary election last night. The Superintendent of Public Instruction primary election. If you are from Wisconsin, thank you for going out and voting. The big deal is on April 1st, where we have this seat, the determination of this seat, and the determination of a compatible Supreme Court seat, which originally looked like it was going to go to the liberal hands, that liberals were going to keep it, but conservatives seem that they're going to take it now, because transparency is now on people's minds. But anything can happen on the Supreme Court seat. That was just one poll that said that conservatives were going to blow out Susan Crawford, but we have about a month and 10 days before that election. But we got to talk about this election specifically, the Superintendent of Public Instruction, and that race is specifically, obviously, I got the prediction way off. Not only with the county alignment, but just on what the stances of these candidates are. So in my previous video, I originally said that Brittany Kinzer was the liberal and Jeff Wright was the conservative. It's actually the other way around. Jeff Wright is the former Democratic Party nominee for, I want to believe, a House district. So I'm not necessarily sure. But yeah, Sauk Prairie superintendent and former Democratic candidate for the state assembly in 2016 and 2018. And Miss Brittany Kinzer, she is the conservative. I want to believe she was a special education consultant. Yeah, she's an education consultant. But she obviously was posed from the beginning to clinch that nomination, being the only conservative in there. Jill Underly, no doubt about it, was going to win. And I said that Jeff Wright, no doubt about it, was going to win that nomination. I was completely wrong. I was wrong. Because I was going in thinking that Jeff Wright was the conservative. Brittany Kinzer was the liberal. Jill Underly was obviously the incumbent liberal superintendent of public instruction. So that's what I was kind of thinking about going in there. But yeah, Jeff Wright got his butt kicked, obviously. Actually, I want to say, I think he did a good performance compared to being the non-incumbent liberal. He comes from Sauk County, and that explains why he specifically did better there than anywhere else. 57%. That's a landslide over Jill Underly. I think the residents there knew that Jill wasn't going to win, but then again, let's give Jeff a try. Let's see what he can do. And that's what they did. 57%. That's like a 30-digit lead against Brittany Kinzer, who is the conservative. 18%. So most liberals ditched Jill Underly in Sauk County. Keep in mind, Sauk County is a bellwether. It is actually a big bellwether. It voted for Trump in 2016, and it voted for Trump in 2024, actually. So it's a bellwether here, and it decides who's the winner in some states. Sauk is generally a Democrat voting county. It has, I don't think it has a university at all. No, it just has a couple community colleges that I personally believe that's keeping the county more blue and liberal. But obviously, Jeff Wright, if I would have known that Jeff Wright was from Sauk County, and he was a liberal, then I would have said, hey, you know what? I'm going to change my prediction and say that Sauk County would go for Jeff Wright. Here's another thing I would never have considered, that the neighboring counties of Richland, Juneau, Columbia, and Iowa counties would go to Jeff Wright at mass. I would never have considered that. But apparently, the communities in Sauk County are not just strong in Sauk County, but they're strong in other counties neighboring. So a lot of residents, probably in Richland County, in Iowa County, in Juneau County, or Columbia County, they probably have relatives or family members that, well, not family members, but former people that lived in Sauk. So they do tend to align with Jeff Wright and his Sauk County identity. I mean, take a look at Iowa County. It voted for Jeff Wright by double digits. Iowa County is a solid Democrat county. No one really knows why Iowa County is so blue. I want to believe it does have a university. We can actually go ahead and check. Never mind the dog barking in the background. I have a hard time shutting him up, so it's not even a challenge. It's just it's a waste of time, really. So yeah, you'll see the county has voted generally Democrat since 1976. 1984 was a different story. Landslide for Ronald Reagan. Then again, getting the Reagan Democrats out there and voting. But you'll see generally the numbers are closing in. Donald Trump won 45% of the popular vote. That was better. This was the best performance since 1988, where President Bush, or vice president at the time, almost won the county. But reasons why this county's so blue, we can actually go ahead and see if there's a university. No. College. No, I think it's just ancestrally Democrat. Iowa County historically tilted Republican for much of the 20th century. However, it has swung heavily to Democrat since the 1970s. It has supported the Democratic presidential candidate in all but one election since 1976 and is one of the most Democratic counties in Wisconsin. So, yeah, I generally think that obviously we have zero reason idea on how and why Iowa County is so blue, but it ditched the Democratic Party nominee Jill Underly. Well, I wouldn't say the official front runner, and it went for the county just above the river, Sauk County, which a lot of the residents have a lot in common with. They could know Jeff Wright. Jeff Wright, after all, I want to believe he has worked in public education. So this isn't like a superintendent, meaning Sauk Prairie Public Schools, and Sauk Prairie is okay. Oh, it's not even a city. It's it's basically the name for Sauk City and Prairie du Sac, which is just barely I would say it's on the border of Dane County, but he comes from there. So Sauk City is actually right here. This little countryside city, Sauk City of 3,000 people. So yeah, I would say generally not a big city, and it's not like a metropolis, but being by Dane County, I would assume it to be more liberal. If you guys are aware, the countryside in Dane County is extremely liberal, for some odd reason. But yes, we got 5 counties for Jeff Wright: Juneau, Richland, Sauk, Columbia, Iowa. Now, obviously, Jill Underly overperformed my expectations. I thought having 2 liberals would lead to huge, Mr. Wright would cut into Underly's numbers in the countryside. That was not the case. Low turnout, loud. Underly to perform pretty well in the countryside in the 3rd district right here, which is generally more liberal, ancestral Democrat after all, but it was pretty close. Yeah, like Dunn County, 42-38%. You have Vernon County, generally was the best performing county in the countryside. You have Crawford, Grant County, and you got La Follette County, all going into favors of Jill Underly. So obviously this does make sense, but yeah. Let's see the best performing county. Underly. She did her best in Douglas County. When has, Douglas County, we said it's become more swingier lately, and it actually is the most liberal. Then again, ancestral Democrats came out to vote for Jill Underly. It's better for the ancestral Democrats in the situation to come out and vote for your liberal candidate because they don't have that D by the name. Kind of the opposite effect. Usually the Democrats come out and flock, but ancestral Democrats that usually vote Republican, they'll go back to the liberal candidate if the candidate is independent. So that's something to generally consider. Douglas County has swung more to the right in recent elections. I have no doubt about it. By 2028, it will become more like a tilting Democrat. But the deal is more of those young college students are leaving Superior and settling more into Duluth. That could be a theory. Otherwise, I just think it's people in the countryside, which generally are more liberal in Douglas County. They're going more rightward, similar to what Carleton County is going for. But that is sort of the situation in Douglas County here. 52% to 28%. Very low turnout, only 1,436 votes for Jill Underly, 95% in. Yeah, the very low turnout. Expectationally, this is a primary, right? And people will say, I won't vote in the primary. I'm not going to cancel my plans for that, but I'll vote in the general election. That's, after all, what really matters. But some people like voting in the primary because they want to take part of who their candidate, who their nominee is going to be. But those people tend to be very big, strict, partisan players. Like, they are devoted Democrats, devoted conservatives, devoted Republicans, devoted liberals, whatever that may be. But Miss Underly's performance, her best performance is in Douglas County. Kinser County. Not Kinser. Miss Kinser, Brittany Kinser, performing her best performance in Wow County, 57%, in Washington County. That is her best performance. And no doubt about it, for Mr. Wright, 57% in Sauk County. He comes from that county after all. So there is obviously no doubt that he would do his best performance there. But after all, I do think this is the whole election. What do you guys think in regards to this video? The general election will be on April 1st. Stay tuned. I'll see you all in the next political episode.